Guys, I get a lot of questions asking me, Kyron, how much of this coin do I have to own in order to make millions? Or how much of that coin? In this instance, how much QNT, HBAR, and XLM do I need to accumulate to make millions of dollars in 2025? Well, truth be told, this is no easy task, but today I'm going to give you all the tools you possibly need to know in order to make that actually happen, including the price levels, of course, and my reasoning for these obscure numbers as well, which will hopefully give some of you clarity into how much more you need to accumulate, or if you actually are there already, how much you want to actually solidify that in happening, of course, in the next bull run. So I'm just going to take your attention over to the screen here, and as you can see again, why do I have chosen 50 QNT, 50,000 HBAR, and 20,000 XLM? Well, we'll start with the QNT, and if you've been watching my channel for a little bit, you'll know exactly why I've chosen 50 QNT. Actually, it's the most on this list. It's $5,500. And the reason I've said for people to buy this much QNT is just simply because it's going to have the most potential in 2025, especially out of these three, at least potentially. We'll get to why in just a second, okay? So QNT has a lot of recent updates that have given me a lot more reason to think that, look, its adoption is definitely going to come in 2030, but 2025 could be a pivotal moment for its success. And I'm not just talking in the realm of utility tokens, I'm talking across the entire market altogether. Now we have 50,000 HBAR, and I must admit, it's less than half of that of QNT, and it's one of my all-time favorite. Actually, it is my highest holding project right now. But the reason I've given it less than half a position compared to QNT is just because it kind of lacks that amazing wow factor that QNT has going for it right now. Plus, QNT has more of that supply shock factor. It's got more potential explosion, okay? At least that moon factor everyone likes to talk about, okay? And then we have the 20,000 XLM. Now, yes, it is slightly the lowest on this list, but XLM is actually a wild card. And the reason I say that is because, as we all know, its price has actually been suppressed thanks to its, you could almost say, sisternet, XRP, because of its ongoing lawsuit with the SEC. Now, of course, that hasn't directly affected XLM, but it definitely has brought it down and suppressed it for many years because of this, okay? So it's a wild card essentially because, well, it could definitely go and provide more gains and results than the QNT, I must admit, but that's not guaranteed, right? Nothing is guaranteed, of course, but the chance of that happening isn't as powerful. We don't really know what's going to happen in that case, and I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket of essentially the SEC, kind of closing that lawsuit and losing that lawsuit. So I think this is a perfect, diversification of projects here, all potentially great projects, right? We have Interop right here with QNT, and it's the by far game-changing, the leader in this field in Web 2 and Web 3. We have the layer 1 general purpose blockchain, which is Hedera, okay? And then we have payments, right? Payments in XLM. So, banking in the unbanked. So I believe this is a great level of diversification amongst some of the best projects in this space, mind you. But guys, truth be told, you don't have to actually just buy these three projects, right? I'm saying 50 QNT, 50,000 HBAR, and 20,000 XLM as a good starting point in terms of your potential returns, as we'll see in a minute, in 2025. You can add more coins to this. You can even add more projects to this list. It doesn't really matter, but this is to hopefully give you guys that have asked me the question, hey, Kyron, how many tokens do I have to buy of these projects to be a millionaire? Or when have I accumulated enough QNT, HBAR, and XLM? Well, this is hopefully going to be the answer to those questions, okay? So overall, guys, $10,000 at the current price will net you this portfolio. Now, I'm going to guess a lot of you probably have actually a lot more than these tokens and are possibly even bought in cheaper than today's prices. Nevertheless, this should hopefully give you some indication of how much you need to accumulate, okay? Now, these questions, to actually answer them, right, it all does depend on your average buy levels and goals. For example, okay, I'm going to touch on a perfect analogy in just a second, but your average buy levels matter. So if you're buying QNT at like $150, it's going to take a lot more capital and a lot longer to accumulate 50 QNT tokens than someone buying at $90, right? So I say, the $5,500 for the, 50 QNT tokens right now, but in reality, it all depends on when you buy, okay? And it's very important. Don't get me wrong, every single cent counts. In QNT's case, every single dollar counts. It's a big, big difference over the long term, right? And so what do I mean by goals? Well, for example, if you're someone who's out there and you're a meme coin fiend, right? And you just love the 50x gains. Now, I must admit, even a 10x feels damn good. But if you're a 50x fiend, for example, and you come across these projects and you're like, damn, in a second I'll give you a price prediction. You're like, damn, Karen, that doesn't seem like that good, right? I don't want a 50x, man. That's fine. These aren't the projects for you, right? These are projects that I'm going to show you in a minute again that I believe you can definitely hold till 2030 if all comes to worst, okay? That will allow you to, get even more returns, right? There's exponential. And the way I see crypto is right now, yeah, you can have meme coins, you can have the real degen stuff, but it's going to happen at some point. They're going to be phased out, and what's going to be left? These actual projects, the ones actually making a difference in the real world. None of this Fugazi meme coin bullshit. Let's just face the facts, right? So again, guys, if you want $1 million from these altcoins, then I'm going to show you exactly what levels we can expect to sell from or at, and how much we have to actually acquire. Again, 50 QNT, 50,000 HBAR, and 20,000 XLM. A lot of you may even have this amount of tokens already. But first, before we get into those price predictions, I want to give you guys a little analogy here, okay? And this is something I created a while back, but it's really important you understand what this actually is, because a lot of people don't understand this sort of stuff, right? It's understanding percentages. So if we go down, for example, and this is going to make sense in a second, right? If we're at $1, let's just say it's HBAR, and then HBAR falls down to 75 cents, to push it back up to $1, HBAR is going to have to actually go up 33%. Now, just like when you're talking about gains and returns, and every dollar counts, or every 5 cent counts for HBAR's case, well, in this case, every percent counts, right? We go down 90%, right? It's like, oh, okay, we're down 90%. We just have to go up another 90% or 100%. Wrong. We have to go up 1,000%. Okay, so you can see the comparison here, right? So when we're talking about gains up and back again, right, up and down, it's completely like it's exponential. Okay, so you have to understand this first before we start going to buy and sell, because right, this is the distinction here. We have person A and person B. Now, I'm not going to go into this example, right, because it can get, we'll be here for 5 minutes talking about this sort of thing. But what the difference between person A and person B is, person B that buys their tokens on the way down, dollar cost average, 250, 250, 250, 250, again, $1.75, 50 cents, and 25 cents, and then looks to ladder sell up. So you take the best of this example and the best of example C, and then you sell here, sell here, sell here, sell here. Well, look at this, guys. You're actually getting more out than what person A would, trying to actually time the top or just take bulk sums in and out. So yes, it's actually more advantageous for you as someone who's trying to minimize risk and also maximize profits to dollar cost average down and ladder sell up at strategic levels. And this takes me into my price predictions, right? So we're going to cover these very briefly individually, but we must understand the importance of ladder selling. Now, I've got a lot of people saying to me, Kyron, well, what about tax? Tax. Guys, the thing about tax is, if we're buying crypto now in mid-2023, I don't think the bull run's going to have like that sort of blow-off top moment at all, but it's not going to really start to shine, I believe, until like early to late 2025. We have like a whole year gap here, even maybe pushing to 2026. So that's well and truly over the 12 months we have to actually wait to have that tax minimized. So, I mean, look, you tell me, right? Would you want to sell at the different levels, right? Would you want to be this person up here and sell all your tokens over here like person A at this point in time? I really should change the color of my pen, right? But this point in time and here, right? Like try to sell at these bulk amounts, right? And end up paying more tax up here than just like spreading that out across the top, okay? It just makes more sense to do it this way, and we're paying less tax because we are waiting that 12 months period, right? So again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but QNT, right? This is my price prediction for QNT. I honestly do think a minimum of $1,500 is going to be reasonable here. That's a $22 billion market cap, so it's good we put the market cap levels on this sort of thing. And I think the max we go to 5,000 now. I've said in the past 10,000, but the way I retract that is because I am using this as a more reasonable price expectation, right? Because I think $10,000 could happen in like the Mickey Mouse ideal, everything's cloud and dandy world. But in reality, I do think this is more realistic. And again, realistic because it could actually hit it, right? $5,000, a $75 billion market cap. And so again, 50 tokens as like that starting point as Kyron, how much do I have to actually own to make a lot of money? Well, again, 50 tokens, 1,500 minimum, that's $75,000. You're 14xing from this price right here, today's price. Again, the lower the better. Okay. And then so what about, 50 times 5,000 on the max side? Well, that's 250,000. That's a 45x. That's $250,000. But again, just in that previous example, we're not going to bulk sell a whole heap at 1,500 or all of it, and we're not going to bulk sell all at 5,000. We have to ladder sell. We're going to, extract the most amount of profits. Of course, you can never beat just buying it all, selling it all at the top, and the safest possible way, right? So ladder sell from the minimum, and as we get higher and higher towards the maximum of 5,000, you begin to lower the amount or the prices you're choosing to sell out of, okay? So you might do what I do, right? $100 increments straight away. So you start at $1,500, then you do $1,600, then you do $1,700, and then you start going tighter. All right, well, the market to a point where you're at 2,000, where you might do 2,050, for example, and then 2,100, then 2,150, and it can just go up like that. Then it might go to 25 to 10 to 5 to 2. But these are the levels that I am looking at as, okay, I'm going to start getting tighter and tighter and tighter, probably not even up to just about 5,000, probably a little bit before that. And because obviously we have to reassess the market. Again, you never know. QNT could be on a $10,000 moonshot. We just have to play it by ear. This is never a one size fits all, but it's the best I can possibly do. Ultimately, I do think you can get a 30x out of this. So again, that's about $165,000. That's quite impressive. But we move to HBAR. Well, as we should all know, my price prediction is 69 cents. That's a 25 bill market cap. Max side of things, I think $2. Now, in the past, I've said $5, and that's like over a $200 billion market cap. Crazy nuts. But I do think, again, that's like Mickey Mouse, like world's best case. Like you couldn't get any better than that. $2 is reasonable as a maximum side of things, right? Again, we do the simple maths here. So on the minimum side, you're making about 34K. On the max, 100K, 14X, 42X, again, from today's price. Ladder selling from 69 cents. Okay, so that minimum again. And getting tighter until the $2 mark. So I'm selling in increments of 20 cents, 10 cents, 0.75 cents, all the way down to like the 1 cent increments, okay? Obviously, depends where we're going, and it depends on the external factors like partnerships, new connections, how the governing council is going. Again, just like QNT, I think we can see about a 30x here, so that's about $75,000, right? Now we push over here to XLM. XLM's a bit different, okay? So the price right now actually is pretty close to all-time lows, at least in respects to the last few years. Minimum 40 cents, that's a 20 bill market cap. Okay, now again, this is a wild card here. So it's a little bit less than the other two, and it's a lot more than the other two on the max side of things. But again, I do think, depending on how that lawsuit goes, it could just go exponential. It really just does depend. The interesting thing about my price predictions with XLM is because the development foundation, the kind of like the non-for-profit that looks after the expulsion of the tokens, they have all access to them. So we don't know when these tokens are coming into circulation. So I had to kind of guess and use about a 35 billion tokens in circulation to estimate the price prediction here. But again, about 40 cents to $3. That means you're making about a 4x and a 30x. And my strategy here is, again, ladder selling at about 40 cents, the minimum, to a maximum of $2 to $3. Again, we've got to be careful here because it's a wild card. So I want to be kind of on the safer side of things. So I'm going to start getting tighter, before that $2 mark, just to be safe, and we'll obviously reassess. So 20 cents, 10 cents, 75 cents, kind of like the same thing as I did over there with HBAR. Okay, just does depend. But, in a lot less sort of crazy moonshot guesstimates here, only $24,000. I think you can definitely get a 12x out of this. Again, it definitely could be like a 50x. We just don't know. And I know what you're thinking, Karen, what the hell, bro? You mentioned like $1 million portfolio or make $1 million with these 3 altcoins at these amounts. What are you talking about? At those levels, which I definitely think people can obtain, that's 250 grand. What are you smoking, bro? And I'd ask the same question, right? But this is something I want you to remember. And this is the difference between me giving you 3 projects on this list that are a 50 mil market cap project that are, I'm kind of like throwing my eggs in this basket thinking, do they sit or do they not? Like, what actually constitutes a good risk? And in my opinion, these projects are a good risk. Not a meme coin, not none of these fancy new coins that really have nothing going for them. These coins have real things going. As we all know, who's Quant working with? The central banks of all damn central banks. Guys, I want you to just get this through your heads. Stop gambling in this damn industry. Who's Hedera connected with? Oh, it's going to be 39 of the world's largest enterprises right now. It's about 30 of them, okay, including Google, Boeing, so on and so forth, okay? Massive. Who's XLM partnered with? MoneyGram. These guys have like over 40,000 locations all across the world. And this is just one of their partners, right? Perfect to bank the unbanked rather. Okay, so we have to assess this and think to ourselves, right, is $250,000 damn dollars for spending $10,000 at today's prices, mind you, okay? Does that seem fair? Yes, that is damn fair. Matter of fact, we're cheating the damn system, okay? So look at this, check this out. That's if we kind of guess. Obviously, we're not trying to get the blow off top here. This is in 2026/2025. So again, we're not trying to hit the blow off top. We're trying to be safe with extracting the most amount of rewards. So if we sell most of those tokens here, we make $250,000. Guys, we can buy back in here, or we can just hold some of our damn tokens. Guarantee if some of you had some, God forbid, something bad happened to you, and you couldn't reinvest or sell your tokens here and then, buy more down here, and you waited until 2030, you're going to be even damn wealthier because these are higher lows than what we had back where we are right now. Where we are over here, these are damn well higher lows, right? So over here, I'm going to guess, we could see a $40 trillion global market cap. It might be 50 trillion. It might be fucking 100 trillion. We don't really know, okay? But it's definitely going to be a lot more than here because at this point in time, what are we going to have? We're going to have institutional and we're going to have national demand in these projects. You can forget about your meme coins. You can forget about your projects that are hopium, right? So these are like the best, safest bets in my opinion. And you can definitely well bet you will become a multi-millionaire if you have this amount of quantity of these tokens at that point in time. For me, honestly, it'd be crazy not to see a minimum of 10,000 QNT at that point. We would probably see a $10 to $15 HBAR token, and we'd probably see again a $10 to $15 XLM token. Guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. To give you some perspective on time frames, again, you got 2030 and 2025/2026 on the horizon here. But again, I think you guys should definitely take about a 25x on average here as a big win. All right, guys, take good care. Talk to you soon. Bye.